Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where we are currently working on, well, something. Our fields need to be dug out, our farmland needs to feed enough people, which it can do at this point, and we have 5 years remaining. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure what our objective is at this point. Are we just waiting on this field to be dug? Maybe. That might be what we're waiting on. Well, for the time being, it's reasonably fine. We've got a bunch of other work to do. We finished up this here. Hang on. No, these shadows are still broken. Okay, sure. We're working on getting this done up here eventually, and we appear to have built on floodplain, but it doesn't appear to be causing us any problems. It's currently flooded, and that's fine. It's just completely okay. It's a little questionable, but, you know, whatever. It's a little strange, I'm not gonna lie. But looking up over this direction, we would love to see our canals get finished. We've got a lot of work to do on those yet. So that's understood. We've got quite a lot of timber in storage and quite a lot of clay in storage as well. I'm assuming that we're going to be okay on our tributes here. We see our 40 timber, we see our 40 pottery. We're a little low on maize, apparently, but I don't expect that to be a problem because we do have all of this ongoing, right? So there's some of these fields here that still need digging. This canal is being worked on. We're still moving this Sawyer. Eventually that will happen. The main question is when. So let's go up to a bit faster of a speed for now and see how this ends up going. Mostly our people are just kind of chilling. I'm not seeing a lot of work getting done at this point. So that's understood. We're definitely doing some, like, harvesting up over this direction. So that seems reasonably fine for now. But yeah, there's definitely a few issues over here. Ah, here we see that the flood is now receding. So we're no longer fully built on floodplain. That's, you know, nice. But eventually this will become a problem. So that is noted that this probably signifies that this is flooding or can flood. That's definitely noted. So how are we doing on getting these canals finished up? Well, I don't know. It feels like our workers are just not doing very much. I'm not noting that it's telling us that we have an issue. Oh, we failed to send our yearly tribute. Huh. We must have not had the maize. Okay, the tribute is now changed. 50 timber, 40 maize, and 40 pottery. Noted. So that's definitely potentially problematic. We're still waiting on a lot of construction happening here. But I'm not really noting anyone going and doing any construction. So there's that. How do we assign people to construction jobs, then, would be the question. Like, would we need to have an additional porter yard? That's probably what we need, actually. Do we have a porter yard right now? I'm willing to bet this is the problem. So if we were to put a porter yard in, say, here-ish, or maybe up here? Well, let's put it in here. Porters can assist with construction. And let's just get that going. So having additional porters would be fantastic. How many porters do we have overall right now? Like, what's our base level of porters? We have 15 in the category of domestic service. Uh-huh. So that got built very quickly. Okay, so it stores goods strictly for local use. Porters can also assist in construction projects. So we can accept maize, fruit, and chili. These are things we produce. Timber, and then I don't want to have pottery in here, but we can bring in some clay and some stone. So something along the lines of that. We're short of common workers and unemployment is becoming a problem. Okay, so in that case, we would presumably need more jobs. We could build another porter yard to get more porters going. And again, I don't feel like that would be a problem. I think that would probably be a good thing, in fact. We've also got access to the fortress here, which we could maybe consider building. Putting that in perhaps about here. Okay, so something along the lines of that. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking that a porter yard, an additional porter yard, might not go amiss. So if we put another one of these, say, this time up over here, or maybe like here? There's that forest tile right there. I don't think we can plant additional forest tiles. At least we can't right now. We can plant fruit trees, but those aren't able to be harvested. Well, they are, but only for fruit, not for timber. So that's noted. So we now have an additional porter yard in here, and we have this fortress. So that should give us a fair amount of jobs, in theory. Our prosperity is 5 out of 10. Enemies are on the march. They're coming from the east. So that's going to be out on this side within 1 month. So we have these on the way. We've built some of this. Okay. So we definitely want to get more of this built out over here. That's not done yet, but our porters should help that. So the invading army has arrived. Let's go down to normal speed. And are we seeing more of these canals finished? Actually, yes. These canals are starting to get finished up over this way. So that looks good. I think the issue indeed was lack of porters. So now that we know that, we can identify that in the future. So we see that their army is out over here. It's not much of an army. They've got a couple of people. This appears to be 5 people as of right now, unless this is just 1. This might just be 1. And this guy is coming in behind them. Oh, this is actually 6. Okay. So they're on their way. We don't have this wall fully finished yet. Eventually it'll get done. Whoa. Why did this guy just randomly fall over dead? That was exciting. And this guy's just in retreat up over here. Sure. So that seems fine for now. Now we do have a archer staffing this tower. Is he actually in the tower? I don't know. And I don't know how this guy died. He just kind of fell over. That's funny. But for the moment, this seems reasonably fine. So we've got this fortress built. We should be in a much better situation than we were previously. They're attacking from this side, which we expected. And they're currently attacking... I think they're attacking this stockade here, but they're not doing... Ah, they're attacking this stockade. Okay. Well, they'll get through that eventually. And this guy's a spearman who is retreating. Why are a spearmen retreating instead of attacking? That's an interesting question. So, let's see. We need more farmland. That's noted. I want to check in here. So, there's this flag, the standard here, right? And this probably indicates where they're trying to attack. Can we order our guys to go somewhere? Okay. Lacking staff, weapons, and armor. Lacking weapons and armor. Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. We don't have any capability of doing any weapons or armor production yet. So that's understood. We need to unlock those. So an additional farmer's hut would not be a bad thing. That would go like up over here-ish. Or perhaps we should just put it in up this way and dig more canal down here. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards this going about here. But what I'd want to do is I'd want to take a little bit of road like this. And that road would come in about like that, like what we have here. Actually, it would come in over here, wouldn't it? And then the farmer's hut would go there, like that. And then we would need to, of course, dig some canal, which we need canal here. The farmer's hut is actually going to go not here, but here. And then the road would go there like that. The canal would connect up over here, like so. And then we'd put in our maize, and that would be 15 maize there. This would be 16. Okay. I think we're lacking a little bit in our, yeah, because of this canal here. Noted. So this canal here is going to cause us a bit of a problem up here. And so I want to, in fact, relocate all of this canal to be here. I have no idea how expensive that's going to be. We can get that going, and then we can do a fruit tree here, here. Actually, I've changed my mind on how I want to lay that out. I want to do the fruit tree here, and then here, and then here. Maybe not there. Here, here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fruit trees. Well, we know that we need to get rid of all of this, right? So let's just take these out for now, and let's just leave it like this until such a time as the canals get moved. I have no idea how hard it's going to be to move those canals. So we'll see how that goes. And in the meantime, we can keep an eye on this up here. We can see that these guys are apparently a little low on health. Interesting. Yeah, our spearmen are just retreating instead of fighting. That's interesting. And this guy's charging in. Or actually, this lady is. Yeah, she's actually fighting. Okay. Well, we're doing some damage here. So we would have to rebuild this. Our archer is going into the tower now. So our archer is currently in the tower. Is he going to fight in the tower? I don't know. But our citizens are definitely fighting over here now. They don't seem to like to fight up here. The city is in debt. Okay. Expanding your exports or tax base to cover your costs. Now, we probably should consider expanding some exports here. We're exporting meat right now. We're currently tributing timber. Importing stone. I'd like to start exporting clay if we can. This accepts, but we can't actually shift this over to... we can't shift this over to export. Interesting. We can't shift these to export either. I think this is based entirely on the needs of Tlatoani. So that's noted. Well, we're going to fend off this attack first, and then we'll think about dealing with the costs. Our staff are resting at the moment on the small market, but apparently the victory is impossible while in debt. Okay, good to know. So if we go in here, we're not actually getting any taxes. I'm wondering why. Property, business, and industry taxes. So why are we not getting any taxes? That's an interesting question. Are we missing a building for that? We've got pretty much all of these builds, I feel like. Yeah, we've got every single building that we have unlocked. We have at least one of. I'm 99% certain about that. So I don't think that's the issue. So we need to expand our exports for sure. No doubt about that. We could get another trading post. That might not be a terrible concept. So another trading post down over, like, here. We'll get that underway. And let's see if any of this has been moved yet. The answer to that is no. Okay. So obviously we're most concerned right now about getting this attack dealt with. It looks like it's mostly done, but there has definitely been damage dealt. So the ruins of Stockade Tower here. Okay. Okay, so they are retreating now. So we lost one archer and one vagrant in the skirmish. Cool. So to that end, we're going to need to work up a little bit more in terms of our defenses here. So I want to put a stockade tower back here. That terrain is blocked. Okay. So we know we need a bit of stockade wall here, right? So I want to do that. And I guess we have to demolish this ruins. And then we can put a new one back in. So that's noted. We do need to address our deficit, that's for sure. So to that end, we can see our wages have gone up. Our imports have remained the same. Our exports are 125 right now, so our overall balance is minus 703, which is not fantastic. I want to get this trading post done and see if we can get this trading post going to something other than Tlatoani, is the idea. So let's see about getting that finished. Okay, so we're good down here on our defenses. Our defenses over here need a lot of work. There's still this guy. Now he's retreating. Okay, so that looks good for now. We lack a trading post with suitable orders to dispatch tribute to Tlatoani. Are you sure? I guess maybe we need more maize. 40 out of 50 timber. Oh, right. Okay, so we'll do that. There we go. So our food reserves are currently low. Our granary should have proximity and road access to both your market and all your farmer huts. So presumably that's an issue with this granary here. Yes. So we're not reaching this farmer hut up over on this side at this moment. Okay, so to that end, we may want to consider either moving this granary. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. We just move it to right here. Okay, so we'll get that done. Hopefully that happens reasonably quickly. We failed to send our yearly tribute. Okay. But our prestige is still at 23 out of 25, so that seems okay. Now we've got this trading post. It has no trade right now. We can trade this with perhaps the hinterland. Okay. So imports clay. I don't want to import. I want to export. Yeah, I'm not seeing any options to export to the hinterland. Okay, so let's try Zampanco. This is importing. Here we can export chili. Okay, that looks good. We can export meat here as well. Import timber only. This would be accepts clay, right. We can export pottery down here. Okay, so we can do something along the lines of that. That'll give us some extra exports. So that'll help offset this, but we'll see what ends up happening with that. So we're working on getting this up here done. There's definitely still work to be done here. We're not quite there yet. We are going to end up needing, I think, a canal right here. Maybe that's already there. Yeah, it is. Okay, so that's under construction. So all of these canals up here are slowly being worked on. That's understood. The water level is very low right now. Okay. So these guys over here needs access to more clean water. Consider building a well dipper nearby. I didn't realize these needed well dippers. Okay, so that is good to know. So a well dipper, of course, we have one down over here. But a well dipper up this direction would reach most of these. This well dipper would actually reach all but this one. We could put a well dipper up here as well. Although we don't actually have road going through here. So that would be a little bit problematic. We could build two well dippers, one here and one here. This would solve all of it except this one. And then this guy, this would not block any forestry collection. So let's just go ahead and do that for the time being. Now, this isn't done over here yet. We still have more work we need to do. We've got these canals that still need to be moved. So that's absolutely understood. Okay, so there's this well dipper here. And that should be reaching all of these up over here. This home has everything it needs for the moment. I don't know why it still has the arrow here, because the tooltip says it has everything. So that looks good for now. Maybe we just need to wait for it to update or something. So that looks fine for the moment. One thing I'm wondering, if we rotate this... Ah, yes. So we can see that this is actually incorrectly located. So that actually needs to be here. If we place that there, which means that we need one more tile of road here, actually. Which means we need to demolish that. Okay, so there's that. Now we need one more tile of road here. And we need to demolish these 2 fields. Then we need to move this guy to be right here, which it did not allow that. We might have to move it down here first and then move it up here, which would be, you know, awkward. But let's do that quick. Hopefully we get that done nice and quickly. And then I want to rotate this back to be the direction we're used to seeing this in. There we go. And then we're going to move this back once we get these canals in. So that looks okay. This is swamp here. This is, of course, going to need to be canal. There we go. Okay, so that's going to take a little bit to get that done. We are still in debt right now. So my question is, if we look here, we can see our balance is now minus 224. So our exports are significantly higher. We can accept potentially more chili and meat, and definitely more pottery here. Pottery is going to be our primary moneymaker at this juncture. And yes, we want to build more plots. We're understanding of that. We're working on it. There's a lot of things that need to happen here. We're going to have a little bit of offset over here. It's going to be gross looking, and that's because I didn't have this system set up beforehand. Next city will do this much better. Okay, so we're currently at minus 454. Our balance is minus 329 right now. Let's see here. Labor. We can drop our wages a little bit in military and defense, perhaps. Down to like 60. And we'll see what that ends up feeling like. Okay, so our service use on this sentry post is currently strained. We may want to consider a second one of those. So a second sentry post, like up over here, or maybe even putting one up here to be able to reach some of this stuff. And it can still pull some off of here. Maybe here, actually. Yeah, let's build it there. Okay, so that'll be fine. We'll get that second sentry post going, and that will relieve some of the pressure from this sentry post. Looks good. So no problem there. This is now moved. Okay, beautiful. So let's go ahead and get the canals building in here. Make sure that this is all canaled. Looks like it is. Okay, so that looks fine for now. And then, of course, we want to move this farmer's hut back over to here. Okay, that'll be fine. So we've got a well dipper up over here now. And that looks good for the moment. So how are we doing financially? Minus 279. Okay. Enemies are on the march. They're coming from the east again. We don't have all of this fully built up yet, but it's actually very close. So we need to get the stockade tower rebuilt over here. We'll get going on that. Hopefully we'll get that finished soon. Okay, we successfully sent our tribute to Tlatoani. That's great. And we're still working... Okay, 80 maize, 80 timber, and 40 pottery now. Sure. I'm going to bump this up to 120 pottery here. So this is going to be 80 timber, 80 maize. So we need to bump this up to 80. And then 40 pottery, I believe. We're short of common workers. We're short of elite workers. And unemployment is becoming a problem. Okay. There are enemies at the door out over here. Luckily, we managed to at least get this stockade tower started. So these guys are on their way in. The question is, are they taking damage throughout this? I don't know. They are definitely pushing their way through. There's fighting occurring over here. I'm not actually convinced that these stockade towers are doing anything. But it is buying us some time because these guys are messing around up here, I suppose. So in the meantime, it looks like our debt is beginning to reduce now. That looks good. We need to reduce it more, of course, but we're going to ramp up our export of pottery. So that looks good. Tribute to Tlatoani, 80 maize. Yeah, we're working on that. And actually, let's stop exporting this here. That'll be fine. And let's stop accepting clay here for the moment. Cool. So that looks fine for now. We are currently in debt, and we're working on it. So these guys are attacking over here again, and it looks like we're going to be fighting them for a bit. Okay, cool. So this looks pretty under control at this point. They did take down one of our stockade towers, very rudely. It was the one right up over here, and then this is just a section of stockade. Okay, so that looks fine for now. And we are hopefully going to come out of debt soon. I do want to check in on some of these wages. So let's consider dropping down our trade and commerce. Actually, let's keep our trade and commerce here, I feel like. I'm wondering if this actually does anything. So that's the vast majority of our wage spending at this point, and we can see we're at -5 currently. That's understood. I would like to further export more of this stuff. So more pottery export would be good. These guys will retreat eventually, and we're going to need to get rid of that. Looks like they are retreating now, actually. Yeah. So we lost one archer in that skirmish. We'll need to get rid of this as well. And then we'll need to rebuild some of this. So a stockade tower is going to go here. We'll need a level of stockade down here. And then these are both going to be stockade towers. Excellent. Now, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to get this farm fully online. We'll get there. And hopefully, we'll see these canals actually finish up and start canaling. That would be nice. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.